Welcome back, everyone. Today, we've got a treat for every die-hard Dallas Cowboys fan out there because we're taking you right into the heart of the action, deep into the competitive fire of training camp. The spotlight is shining directly on star wide receiver CeeDee Lamb during the Cowboys' joint practice with the Los Angeles Rams, and the sounds from the sideline are telling us a story that goes way beyond just another day of drills. This isn't just about routes, catches, or highlights, it's about intensity, leadership, and the message Lamb is sending to the entire NFL ahead of the 2025 season. The atmosphere at camp was electric, with both teams coming together in a rare preseason clash of egos, talent, and championship aspirations. The Rams came in with their own stars, their own swagger, and their own mindset to push the Cowboys' defense to the limit. But make no mistake, this day was all about the offense answering back, and CeeDee Lamb took that challenge personally. You could hear it in his voice, see it in his eyes, and feel it in the energy around him. He wasn't just practicing, he was setting a tone for the season. From the moment Lamb stepped onto the field, it was clear he was dialed in. His warm-up routes were sharp, his hands were quick, and every movement looked calculated. When the first 7-on-7 drill kicked off, the Cowboys' offense went up against a Rams secondary that was itching to prove something. The Rams brought physicality, tight coverage, and plenty of trash talk. But Lamb responded with pure precision, cutting through defensive schemes like a hot knife through butter. On his first big rep, he exploded off the line, made a crisp double move, and snagged a bullet pass from Dak Prescott right in stride. You could hear the sideline erupt not just from Cowboys players, but from coaches who knew that's the kind of connection they'll need all season long. Lamb gave a little stare down to the corner covering him, then jogged back to the huddle without saying a word. Sometimes silence says more than anything else. But don't be fooled, CeeDee was vocal all day. Between plays, you could catch him hyping up his teammates, encouraging the younger receivers, and giving Dak quick feedback on timing and ball placement. The sound of his leadership was just as important as the sound of the ball hitting his gloves. At one point, after a miscommunication between Prescott and a rookie receiver, Lamb pulled the younger player aside, gestured with his hands, and explained exactly how to break off the route when the coverage rolls over. That's the mark of a leader, not just performing at the highest level himself, but making sure everyone else is on the same page. Of course, no joint practice is complete without some chippy moments, and this one delivered. Midway through the team drills, Lamb ran a deep route against tight man coverage from a Rams corner. The ball sailed just out of reach, but as Lamb slowed up, there was some extra hand fighting and jawing after the whistle. CeeDee didn't back down. He walked right up to his defender, clapped his hands together, and said something along the lines of, "That's all you got?" The sideline lit up with a mix of laughter, cheers, and a few o's from players on both sides. Moments like that might seem small, but they matter. They set a competitive tone and show that Lamb is ready to battle every single snap. As practice moved into red zone drills, the energy ramped up even higher. This is where Lamb really thrives: short field, tight coverage, and the pressure to make every play count. On one rep, Dak dropped back, scanned the field, and fired a laser toward the back corner of the end zone. Lamb leapt, extended his arms, and hauled in the catch just inches above the defender's helmet before tapping both feet down in bounds. The crowd along the sideline exploded. Teammates rushed over to celebrate, and you could hear Lamb yelling, "That's mine all day." That's the kind of confidence you want from your WR1 heading into a new season. But what stood out even more than the highlights was Lamb's consistent energy from start to finish. He never coasted. He was sprinting back to the huddle, running every route at full speed, and demanding the same from those around him. Even during special teams reps, when he wasn't directly involved, Lamb was watching closely, calling out encouragement, and making sure the energy stayed high. That's contagious leadership. When your best players are your hardest workers, it forces everyone else to raise their game. After practice, reporters caught up with Lamb to get his take on the day. He was smiling, but you could tell the competitive fire was still burning. He talked about how joint practices are a chance to test yourself against new looks, different schemes, and players who don't know your tendencies. He mentioned that going up against the Rams' secondary helped him fine-tune his release moves and reminded him that execution under pressure is what separates the great from the good. Lamb made it clear that while the highlights are fun, the real work is happening in the details: footwork, timing, and trust with his quarterback. It's worth noting that this isn't just about CeeDee's performance, it's about the bigger picture for the Cowboys. The offense is going to run through him in 2025, and how he sets the tone in these practices will have a ripple effect all season long. The chemistry between him and Dak looked sharp, the offensive line gave the quarterbacks enough time to work, and the younger receivers seemed to benefit from watching Lamb go to work. When your star receiver is leading by example, it can transform the entire unit. There's also an important takeaway for fans: joint practices like this aren't just another day at camp, they're controlled battles that show you exactly where your team stands. For the Cowboys, seeing Lamb dominate against a defense that's not their own is a sign that the offense is on track. And for Lamb personally, every rep is a chance to send a message to the rest of the league: double team me if you want, but I'm still going to make plays. By the time practice wrapped up, the sun was setting and the players were exhausted, but the energy was still buzzing. Lamb jogged off the field, exchanging fist bumps with teammates and coaches, clearly satisfied with the work they had put in. The sounds from the sideline told the story: teammates talking about his catches, coaches praising his routes, and even Rams players admitting under their breath that he's a problem to deal with. That's respect, and in the NFL, respect is earned every single day. As the Cowboys prepare for the upcoming preseason games and eventually the regular season, fans can take comfort knowing that their top offensive weapon is not only in peak physical form but also locked in mentally. CeeDee Lamb is entering the 2025 season with a chip on his shoulder, and if this joint practice is any indication, he's ready to make this year his best yet. The connection with Dak is sharp, his leadership is growing, and his competitive edge is undeniable. For a team with Super Bowl aspirations, that's exactly the kind of energy you need. So when we talk about sounds from the sideline, it's not just about the little noise, it's about the feeling, the intensity, and the statement being made. On this day, the statement was loud and clear: CeeDee Lamb is ready to take over, and the Dallas Cowboys are following his lead. If the rest of the NFL wasn't paying attention before, they better start now, because number 88 is locked in and hungry for greatness. And if you're a Cowboys fan, you can already feel it. This could be the year something special happens in Dallas. If you enjoyed this deep dive into CeeDee Lamb's joint practice performance and want to keep riding with us all season long for more Cowboys coverage, breakdowns, and exclusive looks inside the action, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single update. This is just the beginning, and trust me, you're going to want to be here for the ride.